This was a wonderful event that happened in our India in the year 1998. At that time, the whole world was on one side, but India was on the other side. America tried with all its might to stop India, but India did not stop at all. America always kept surveillance on India with its spy satellites to see when we would get caught. Any movement that happened, they could immediately detect. Even in such a situation, if you want to test nuclear weapons that the whole world feared, it takes a lot of guts. That's exactly what our Bharat did. In the year 1970, the whole world united and made an agreement that from then on, no other countries should make nuclear weapons. But India did not agree to this treaty, because this agreement felt very unfair to us. India decided that if the people of our country needed protection, nuclear weapons were absolutely necessary. So in 1974, India conducted a nuclear test. The name of that operation was Smiling Buddha. After this news reached the world countries, they reacted very angrily at us. They imposed many sanctions on our nation. America banned raw materials and technologies coming to us. It blocked loans. Canada, Japan, and some European countries stopped all the help they were giving us. Even after all this, India strongly decided that whatever happens, we must have nuclear weapons. So for the second time, secretly without anyone in the world knowing, India made nuclear weapons. Making them is okay, but testing them without the world knowing is almost impossible. But India made even that impossibility possible and proved it. While the whole country of India was asleep, a few great people stayed awake and carried out a mission called Operation Shakti. Before this Operation Shakti event, even a Hollywood movie would not be enough. What exactly happened in Operation Shakti? How were the tests conducted? I will show this in 3D animation. So let's begin. Pakistan conducted its nuclear tests inside Granite Mountains, but our India did not do that. For nuclear testing, we selected the complicated place, the Thar Desert in Rajasthan. Because here fewer people lived, there was no water supply link. Therefore, people would not be harmed and water would not get contaminated. That is why India selected the Thar Desert. But the biggest problem here was, all around the desert there was only sand, nothing else. Because of this, if America looked from above with its satellites, we would surely be caught. In case we got caught then, our country would never have had nuclear weapons today. If we wanted to stand in the world as a nuclear power, then these tests had to be conducted no matter what. Taking this risk, the Indian Army and Indian scientists together started a mission that stunned the whole world, Operation Shakti. It was the beginning of April in the year 1998, Rajasthan's Thar Desert, a place called Pokhran. On the surface, the desert was very silent. But underground, the Indian Army had started Operation Shakti to create history. The goal of this mission was to conduct nuclear tests without the world knowing, especially without America knowing, because America observed India daily with its spy satellites. Those satellites had real-time cameras. Through those cameras, CIA and NASA could see live what we were doing in the Thar Desert. Even if an object's place changed, even vehicle tire marks could be detected. Now, the biggest task before Indian scientists was how to blindfold America's satellites and conduct nuclear tests. Immediately, our Indian scientists moved forward with an idea: only night construction. Suppose one object was in one spot at sunset today, and by morning its place had changed, America's satellite would immediately find out that some secret activity was happening. That is why our scientists implemented this brilliant plan. Without NASA's satellite knowing or seeing, all the work must be done only at night. But by morning, every object must be placed back in the same position. Its place should not change at all. Doing this, we had to dig underground pits for nuclear testing. We had to construct shafts. Just imagine once how difficult this was, how risky it was. With great courage, our people began this secret work. The 58th Engineer Regiment of the Indian Army came into action. This army unit stayed near the test site, and at night went to the test place in their vehicles. They carried the necessary equipment and tools in their vehicles. Only the Indian scientists and Indian Army knew what was happening there. Now their task was to construct underground shafts without getting caught by American satellites. That too, the work had to be completed in just 40 days. Only at night they had to work. But no one should know that such work was happening. Not only that, they had to work with very, very minimal lights because even heat traces could be detected by American spy satellites. Now, what exactly are these underground shafts and why are they being constructed? We had to test 5 nuclear devices. To test them, pits of about 400 meters depth and 50 meters width had to be dug. After digging the pit, concrete and steel casing had to be placed at the required points. At the depth of 400 meters inside that pit, the nuclear device had to be installed. Above this device, a plug would be fixed. With this, the device would be detonated. On top of it, a monitoring device would be placed. Our scientists would stay inside a control bunker far away from this place. From there, with a remote, this device would be triggered and it would explode. Then, with the monitoring device placed above, they would know how much energy the bomb released, how it worked, whether it exploded successfully or not. All that data would be recorded. So that was our plan. But not just one device. We had to test 5 devices. Then the Indian Army began their work. They started digging underground pits. After the entire country had fallen asleep, the Army unit secretly went to the Pokhran test place. They carefully memorized the routes they took. Even the villagers nearby should not know, so they carried sound-suppressed equipment to avoid making any noise. Meaning, while working, these tools did not make sound. Because if Indian media got to know about this secret mission, it was as good as America finding out. Then the mission would fail. That is why they did everything without even the people of our country knowing. In this work, the Army used hand tools as much as possible. Carrying equipment every day was very difficult. So whenever they placed an object somewhere, they carefully memorized its place. After finishing work, they had to put the object back in the same place. Behind the Army were the Indian scientists. The work was not done haphazardly. It was designed to be systematic. The entire Army unit was divided into small units, and each unit was assigned a specific task. Moreover, every soldier was given specified equipment. That soldier had to carefully remember the place of the items he had. After his work, he had to put the item back in the same place. Because if the place of any object changed, the American satellite above would detect it. Then our operation would fail. Electrical wires or equipment cables were covered with plants and grass so that they would not be visible. The machinery, tools, and containers they used were hidden in a bunker nearby. Every night they completed their work, and by morning all objects had to be back in place. While leaving when their vehicles went, some soldiers would erase the tire tracks with brooms. Then the vehicle marks would vanish from the route. America's spy satellites could not detect them. Like this, throughout April, our Indian Army secretly prepared 5 underground shafts for nuclear testing without anyone knowing. America did not get the slightest doubt. So perfectly, they completed their work. Our people did it so perfectly that even America's KH-1 satellite, which had high image resolution, compared before and after images, and still could not catch our Indian Army even for one day. Not only that, our people even calculated and found out when that satellite would pass over Pokhran. During daytime, at some times, that satellite did not view our Pokhran site. That is called a blind spot. At that time also our people worked. All this was made possible by calculating the orbit of that satellite. Finally, the Indian Army achieved their planned work. Everything was made ready for the nuclear test. But the biggest question mark was, how to bring the nuclear bombs to this place? It was May 1st, 1998. Finally, it was decided that the nuclear bombs must be brought to the Pokhran test place. That night, while the people of India were peacefully asleep in Mumbai's Bhabha Atomic Research Center, a few Indian scientists were still awake, working busily. They were packing nuclear devices into truck containers. That night, exactly at 3 a.m., those nuclear devices were loaded onto military trucks. The military convoy set out. Even so that our Indian media would not catch them, the registration numbers of vehicles were changed. Without any noise, overnight, 5 bombs were brought into Mumbai's Santa Cruz airport. As soon as they reached there, Indian Air Force AN-32 aircraft was ready. From the trucks, the bombs were carefully loaded into the airplane. From there, they were taken to the Jaisalmer military airbase in Rajasthan. From there again, in 3 trips by Indian Army trucks, those 5 bombs were brought into Pokhran test place and placed inside a military facility. That place's code name was Prayer Hall. In that prayer hall, finally, detonators were attached to all the bombs. Timers were checked. Safety locks were confirmed. Every wire, every fuse, every voltage trigger was tested and cross-checked. Then everything was made ready for the final test. It was May 10th, 1998. On that day, 3 bombs were installed in 3 separate shafts. Shakti 1. This was a 2-stage thermonuclear device. This was our main nuclear device. Shakti 2. This was a plutonium implosion fission device. Shakti 3. This was an experimental linear implosion device. Shakti 1 device was installed in a shaft named White House. Shakti 2 was installed in a shaft named Taj Mahal. Shakti 3 was installed in a shaft named Pokhran. After installing everything in the control room, Indian scientists and Indian military officers were all ready for the countdown. Each person there had one specific job. Their original names were not to be used. Mobile phones were not to be used. No trace of them should remain. In this team were brilliant minds like APJ Abdul Kalam, R. Chidambaram, and Anil Kakadkar. Everything was ready. After a while, the American satellite had just passed over the Pokhran range. Indian surveillance team confirmed that the sky was very clear, weather was perfect. Safety clearance was given. Then the countdown system was activated. In the control room, everyone wore safety goggles and eagerly waited. Many years of hard work would be decided in this one night, success or failure. It was exactly May 11th, morning 3:45. In the dark Thar desert, from underground came a huge light. Immediately, everyone in the control room, scientists and soldiers, closed their eyes at once. A shockwave came. A massive blast rose hundreds of meters into the sky. Shakti 1, 2, and 3. All devices detonated. The ground shook suddenly. All the data was recorded in the control room. Then everyone in the control room rejoiced in happiness. In our country's history, that day was written as a great day. But politically, it also shook the rest of the world. Our scientists and army together proved that when politics is supported by science, the people of the nation can live safely. Again on May 13th, Shakti 4 and 5 were also successfully tested. That's it. Our India joined the nuclear club as the 6th country. Sometimes if you want peace, violence is compulsory. Jai Hind. If you liked this video and felt you learned valuable information, like and hype it, and share it. Thanks for watching. See you soon with another interesting video.